Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there was a kind and cheerful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her wicked stepmother, and two mean stepsisters, who made her do all the household chores, while they enjoyed a life of luxury. Cinderella's days were filled with sweeping floors, cleaning dishes, and tending to the needs of her ungrateful stepfamily. Despite her difficult circumstances, she remained cheerful and kind, finding solace in the company of the animals that lived around the house. One day, an invitation arrived at Cinderella's home. The royal palace was hosting a grand ball, and every maiden in the kingdom was invited. Cinderella's stepsisters were overjoyed at the prospect of attending the royal event, but they had no intention of taking Cinderella with them. As they prepared for the ball, Cinderella watched with a heavy heart. However, her fairy godmother, who had been keeping a close eye on her, appeared in a light. With a wave of her wand, she transformed Cinderella's ragged clothes into a beautiful gown, and her worn-out shoes into sparkling glass slippers. "Remember, my dear," said the fairy godmother, "you must leave the palace before midnight, or the magic will fade away." Cinderella set off for the royal ball. When she arrived, the entire palace was shocked by her beauty. Even her stepsisters didn't recognize her in her elegant attire. The prince, captivated by Cinderella's grace and charm, asked her to dance. They twirled around the grand ballroom, and for a moment, Cinderella felt like she was in a dream. But as the clock struck midnight, she remembered her fairy godmother's warning. In a hurry, Cinderella fled from the palace, leaving behind one of her glass slippers. The magic wore off, and she returned to her ordinary clothes. The prince, determined to find the mysterious maiden, picked up the glass slipper and vowed to marry the one it fit perfectly. At Cinderella's house, her stepsisters talked about the special night. Cinderella could only imagine the wonderful moments she had with the prince. The whole kingdom waited eagerly as the prince went to every house, looking for the person with the glass slipper. When he arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters tried to squeeze their feet into the shoe, but it was too small for them. As a last resort, they let Cinderella try it on, and to everyone's amazement, it fit perfectly. The prince was very happy to see Cinderella as the girl from the ball. He asked her to marry him, and she said yes with tears of joy. The mean stepmother and stepsisters had to watch as Cinderella and the prince happily went to the palace. Cinderella's life changed forever as she became the princess of the kingdom. She ruled with kindness, always remembering the difficult days she had faced. Her fairy godmother continued to look over her, ensuring that she lived happily ever after with the prince who had seen beyond appearances and recognized the goodness within her. And so, the tale of Cinderella became a story of kindness, and the magic of true love. Now we have come to the end of the Cinderella story. Our next story is The Three Little Pigs. If you are curious about their story, keep watching. Let's get started. Once upon a time, in a charming forest nestled between rolling hills and brooks, there lived three little pigs. Each pig had its own personality and dreams, and they decided it was time to build houses of their own. The first little pig, named Oliver, was a bit impulsive. He wanted a house quickly, so he chose to build it out of straw. The straw was plentiful, and he worked swiftly, creating a cozy little straw house. Although it was easy to build, Oliver knew it might not be the strongest. The second little pig, Benny, was a bit more patient than Oliver. He decided to build his house using sticks. Gathering branches and twigs, Benny constructed a quaint little house that was stronger than Oliver's straw house. However, Benny still wondered if it could withstand the challenges that might come their way. The third little pig, Charlie, was the wisest of them all. He believed in planning and hard working. Charlie knew that only a strong foundation could provide true safety. So, he decided to build his house with bricks. He spent days carefully laying each brick, creating a solid structure that would stand the test of time. As the three little pigs were finishing their houses, a shadowy figure appeared in the forest. It was the big, bad wolf, known for causing trouble and frightening the woodland creatures. The wolf spotted Oliver's house made of straw and slyly approached. Little pig, let me in," he growled. But Oliver, frightened, replied, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." Then the wolf showed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down." Terrified Oliver ran to Benny's house made of sticks. The wolf followed and repeated his words. Little pigs, let me in." Benny and Oliver replied, "Not by the hair on our chinny chin chins." The wolf huffed and puffed once more, and this time, the house of sticks succumbed to his mighty breath. Now, the two frightened pigs rushed to Charlie's brick house. The wolf, undeterred, reached them and said, little pigs, let me in." But Charlie confidently retorted, "Not by the hair on our chinny chin chins. You can't blow this house down." The wolf huffed and puffed with all his might, but the brick house stood firm, and the three little pigs were safe inside. Frustrated and hungry Wolf tried to find another way in. He climbed onto the roof and decided to go down the chimney. However, Charlie had a plan. He had placed a large pot of boiling water at the fireplace. When the wolf slid down, he landed right in the hot water, letting out a yelp of surprise and pain. The wolf ran away quickly, and the three little pigs emerged from their brick house, victorious and unharmed. They learned that careful planning and hard work pay off, and a strong foundation can withstand any challenge. The three little pigs lived happily in their brick house, enjoying the peace of the forest. They knew that their unity and determination would overcome the difficulties, and they all lived happily ever after, with the memory of the big, bad wolf serving as a reminder of the strength found in wisdom and hard work.